6 behaviors that drive children away. Many seniors still cling to them. There's a particular sorrow that grows with time, children becoming increasingly distant from their parents. For many, it's not intentional, nor is it the result of a single event. Instead, it's often the culmination of seemingly small behaviors, repeated over the years, that erode the bond between parents and their children. Family harmony doesn't happen by accident. It requires consistent nurturing, patience, and mindfulness. Unfortunately, many seniors unwittingly engage in habits they believe are beneficial or necessary, only to find these actions drive a wedge in their family relationships. If you've ever wondered why your children call or visit less frequently, or why they seem emotionally withdrawn, it may be worth examining these 6 behaviors. One of them, especially number 5, touches a nerve in so many families. Let's dive in, not to point fingers, but to offer gentle, heartfelt guidance that can mend and strengthen your bond with your children. 1. Meddling under the pretext of it's for their own good. Let's begin with a classic scenario. Peter, a 42-year-old man from a small rural town, has loving parents in their 70s. His father, a robust man, still helps out with farm work, while his mother handles lighter chores, such as shelling peanuts or peeling corn. Their presence in Peter's life is invaluable on busy farming days. Their assistance can make all the difference. However, their helpfulness has a flip side. Peter, despite being an adult, finds himself needing their approval for significant decisions. His parents have spent their lives sacrificing for him as their only child, and they see their involvement as an extension of their care. One day, Peter wanted to invest in a modern greenhouse for growing green beans, inspired by new farming techniques introduced in his village. The potential was great, but the investment required a significant sum of money, roughly $20,000. His research reassured him that others had succeeded with such ventures, but his father's resistance was unwavering. "That's too risky. You'll lose everything we've saved over the years. Remember, I've seen more of life than you. Trust me, it's not worth it." Despite the village leader and neighbors encouraging Peter, he relented and dropped the idea. Months later, his parents dismissed another of his plans to renovate their old home after hearing rumors of impending demolitions and compensation for new housing. This time, Peter went against their wishes. Using his savings, he repaired the house and built 4 additional rooms on an empty plot. Within 6 months, the demolition project was confirmed. Because of the upgrades, Peter's family received substantial compensation, enough to secure a brighter future. Here's the lesson: your children are adults with their own lives and decisions. Even if their plans seem risky or unfamiliar, trust them. Resist the urge to dictate their choices, as it may stifle their independence and, worse, cause resentment. Children will make mistakes, but they'll also learn. By stepping back, you show trust in their ability to navigate life. 2. Playing favorites. Few things damage family bonds like favoritism. Take the story of Sarah, a 20-year-old who ran away from home when her parents insisted she marry a wealthy older man to fund her younger brother's wedding. Her tears and pleas fell on deaf ears as her parents convinced themselves they were acting for the greater good. Marrying into wealth is a dream for many women. This way, you'll have a good life, and your brother can also settle down. It's a win-win. But Sarah saw it differently, a betrayal by the very people meant to protect her. She fled to a faraway town, working odd jobs until she built a life of her own. Years later, when she returned with her husband and children, her parents refused to welcome her, disowning her entirely. Ironically, when her brother and his wife later mistreated the aging parents, they sought Sarah's help. She refused. The takeaway here is simple but profound: your children are individuals, not pawns. Treating one child as a tool for another's benefit creates wounds that rarely heal. Equality doesn't mean giving the same, it means recognizing and respecting each child's needs and feelings. 3. Taking their support for granted. Another common misstep is expecting children's help as a given. This is the tale of Lucy, who grew up under her parents' favoritism toward her brother. Despite this, she remained dutiful, often visiting her parents with groceries and helping around the house. Yet her efforts were never enough. Her mother would compare her to her wealthier cousin. "Why can't you bring us more, like Jessica does for her parents?" When the family home was demolished, all compensation went to Lucy's brother. Her parents justified it with an old saying: "A daughter married is like water spilled, your husband's family is your responsibility now." Eventually, Lucy withdrew from her parents. Her sense of obligation had been replaced by hurt. Here's the crux: gratitude strengthens relationships. Appreciate what your children do for you instead of focusing on what they don't. Love grows where it's nurtured, and gratitude is the water that sustains it. 4. Airing family problems publicly. Imagine the embarrassment of Helen, whose mother-in-law discussed her brother's personal troubles with neighbors. Word got back to Helen's coworkers, damaging her professional reputation and straining her marriage. While it's natural to seek advice or vent frustrations, doing so publicly can erode trust. The saying, "Don't air your dirty laundry," holds true. Family matters, especially sensitive ones, should remain private. Discretion shows respect for yourself, your children, and your family. 5. Treating in-laws as outsiders. One of the most common pain points in families is how in-laws are treated. Remember, when your child marries, their spouse becomes an integral part of the family. Viewing them as outsiders, whether subtly or overtly, creates a divide. For instance, if your son-in-law works tirelessly to support your household, acknowledge his contributions. If you criticize or belittle him, even unintentionally, it sends a clear message to your child: their partner will never truly belong. A harmonious family embraces all its members. Love multiplies when shared. 6. Clinging to old ways and refusing to adapt. Change is inevitable. The world your children live in is vastly different from the one you knew at their age. Holding on to outdated traditions or refusing to embrace new ideas can create unnecessary friction. For example, resisting modern technology or dismissing your children's way of life as inferior may seem minor, but over time, it adds up. Show interest in their world, learn to text or FaceTime, and you'll find it easier to stay connected. By adapting to the present, you ensure a place in your children's future. Final thoughts. Being a parent doesn't end when your children grow up, it evolves. By avoiding these pitfalls, you pave the way for stronger, more fulfilling relationships. The effort is worth it. After all, family is life's greatest treasure. Remember, love, trust, and respect are the bridges that bring your children back to you. Don't let those bridges crumble.